is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 124 on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to all these episodes. I fully appreciate it. And as you can see, I am here in the middle of Del Mar. So I want to talk about two comedy shows I've been going to last week. And we'll talk about a little about UFC 292 and Korean Zombie and Max Holloway. A little bit about Padres, a little bit about Prince Street Pizza, and pretty good surf and turf burrito from Los Panchos. So, stay tuned guys, and I will talk to you guys about those food, comedy, and sports. Right. Welcome back guys. So, coming live from Del Mar / Solana Beach. Beautiful day, kind of hot though. So, I want to talk to you guys about the Abnormal Nights comedy show on Thursday, August 24th at the Adams Avenue Theater. Great venue, 300-seat place to watch a comedy show. Killer lineup. Got a whole bunch of headliners on this card, and great production put together by Alex Petit and McKay Bushnell. So coming in and knowing this is a free show, but I always know that the show at this place by Alex, and it's usually a great show. I don't think I ever had a really bad experience with the show produced by Alex before. So whether it was the Duckfoot Brewery or the Abnormal Nights comedy, honestly, if you ever go to their shows, honestly, you'll never have a bad time. I mean, it would take a lot of things to go wrong, but that was none the case on Thursday night. So, before the show started, I actually stopped by this pizza place called Zia's Gourmet Pizza, and they have pizza slices on display. And I chose one that had I think it had zucchini and butter squash or butternut squash or something. I guess you could call it a vegetarian or veggie pizza slice. Pretty tasty though. The crust was very soft actually, so it was a very enjoyable pizza slice. It's good to have that before the show starts. Brought it in with me. I put it down on my seat that I saved. I went to the restroom, washed my hands, came back out. Good thing no one stole my pizza and no one stole my seat. I actually sat by the camera right there, dead center. And the first person that came up was, I believe, McKay Bushnell, after Alex had already read all the rules about the show. So McKay did his usual stuff. Funny that this time no one ever talked about soaking this time. So he did talk a little bit about being a Mormon, or was a Mormon, and good stuff. Crowd really liked what he had to say. I don't think it was anything close to, well, it wasn't like the same jokes. I'm pretty sure there was something a little different about it. So I noticed there's a little difference, because otherwise I kind of go into like a cruise control if I hear the same joke or words in the same order, and that will tell me that it's probably not a new joke. But it wasn't so much the case. It was probably maybe 60% of it or 70% of it was probably I was kind of familiar with. The other 30-40% I think was different from what I can remember. So the fact that a lot of stuff that McKay was saying. Crowd was laughing. I could hear it. I would say I would like to give McKay an 8.1 out of 10. I believe the next person that went up, it may have been, I want to say Lisa Gilbert. So Lisa Gilbert, fantastic lady, great comic. Now granted, I think 90% of what she said was something very familiar to what I heard. There was little something different about when she talked about her kids, and I don't know if it was a different take about like her kids like in other girls, because I think she had like triplets and 2 of them were boys and 1 was a girl, I think. So, but 90% of it I think was sounding very familiar actually. But given that, this crowd really loved almost everything she said, so she did pretty well, and you can hear the laughter was pretty consistent throughout her set, and I would say she was an 8.5 out of 10. Next person I believe came up was Colson Harpy. I think everything he said was exactly how I remembered it from previous times before. But again, this crowd was super energetic and they were eating up everything everybody was saying. And honestly, the stuff about pornography, that was pretty funny. Him being at the grocery store, the whole bit about bad boy. 2 ways you can say bad boy. It means 2 different things of how you say it, apparently. And that actually got a lot of like big laughs in the crowd. So I would say like he was about an 8.4 out of 10. So then you got, I believe it was Alex Petit. I think he went up. He made some references about our California hurricane, given the fact that he has been through Hurricane Katrina. So this hurricane that we had in California was nothing. And I guess that was some new stuff. He did mention about, the poor idea of building a bridge that was 70 feet below sea level. And of course that part of Mission Valley, Fashion Valley, always floods during any kind of rain. So that was some funny stuff that he came up with. So it wasn't any like old material that I can remember actually. I think it was actually mostly new stuff. Maybe a clip I've seen, but other than that, just hearing new stuff is always refreshing. I always like that from comics. So overall, I think he was getting a good crowd reaction to the hurricane stuff, the bridge, Hazard Center, jab. Honestly, I enjoyed the set actually. So I would say Alex did pretty well, 8.5 out of 10. I believe we had Katie K go up next. Always love her stuff. She's super funny. Any kind of story she has to tell everybody, honestly, I always eat it up, honestly. I think all of this was actually new material too. I don't remember any previous stuff that was in this one, especially none of the stuff she did on her comedy album. So it was all good stuff. Anywho, she talked about how she was a different person over an 11-hour flight, and talked about a kid that was pulling her hair. She did have some poop jokes, so I guess who doesn't love a good poop joke, right? Anywho, yeah, she got a good crowd reaction. Um, a lot of the stuff she had to say, people were also eating up a lot of stuff she was saying. Um, honestly, I would say she was 8.6 out of 10 for a comedy. Um, and I believe the next person that came up was a big surprise. I didn't know he was going to be there because this is actually technically a secret lineup. And honestly, I started to kind of piece things together actually in my mind because the previous night, um, Junior Deguzman was actually at the Crazy Woke Asian show at the Mic Drop. I wanted to go to that one, but I didn't know how I was going to handle the fact that I actually have my fantasy football draft happening right before that show. And um, the moment I saw his name on the marquee, and I was trying to think, could I go to both? Could I do the draft and then go to the show? But then I decided not to. I did ask and inquire about being comped for it, but I didn't get any kind of information from Mic Drop, so I figure, if I finish my draft early, I could go and stop by the front and ask if I can be a part of the show. But honestly, I think I was a little focused on my fantasy football draft because, I'm going to kill it this year again. So I decided to kick back after the draft and I didn't go to the show. I knew he was there, but I don't know. Maybe if he wasn't local San Diegan, he probably would have stayed around for the whole weekend. But maybe he went back up to a different city. Maybe just there for one night. So, in the back of my mind, I knew that he had passed through San Diego. Now, as I showed up to the Adams Avenue Theater and ran into Alex in the front, he told me there was a clue as to who was on the lineup. And when I walked in with my pizza, I see a guitar on stage. And I actually did remember seeing a clip. I saw a clip of Junior Deguzman with a guitar. And I think it was clips of the Mic Drop show. But I didn't put it together initially, but then it took me about a couple minutes to realize, well, if Junior Deguzman was here in San Diego the night before, and I see a guitar on stage, the show I went to on Thursday night, and I kind of had to look around, and then I just realized something, that, oh shoot, that guitar and Junior Deguzman was actually here in San Diego, and it looked like, what do you know? Junior Deguzman is actually at the show. And he went on stage when they announced his name, picked up his guitar, and wow, he is a big hit. And the fact that he wasn't the headliner of this show, that was amazing because it would appear that Junior Deguzman might have been the funniest comedian on the entire lineup. That, from what I can hear in the crowd and how well he did his set. So he does comedy and playing guitar at the same time. So it works pretty well, and he found that blend. And honestly, any show that he does, I think he's going to hit it big. He had a good rapport with these two ladies in the front row. And I can tell because that's the same two ladies that came up to him after the show. And I think they hit it off pretty well, actually. So this is actually my first time seeing Junior Deguzman, and actually heard about him initially because a friend of my friend, Dupree D2 Nice, from Who Are They podcast, he actually introduced me to his friend, and the friend had told me when I said that, I have a podcast on Spotify and YouTube where I talk about comedy, food, and sports. She suggested, hey, do you know Junior Deguzman? He's going to be at the Balboa Theater performing a show, and I had to look into it. And well, I had that in the back of my mind. I was probably going to go to a show. And then I found out that he was going to be at the Mic Drop. I didn't go to that one. And then to my amazement, he was going to be at this Adams Avenue Abnormal Heights show. So throughout his whole entire set, he was super funny. Almost everybody in the crowd loved what he had to say. His rapport with the girl up in the front, talked about anal sex in his song, and everybody was just laughing their ass off. So easily I could say that Junior Deguzman, I'm going to give him a 9.1 out of 10. So can't wait to see him again, and maybe I actually going to look into that Balboa Theater show. And since he's going to headline that show, I think I might go and maybe take someone with me. Who knows? And of course, now you have your headliner, Matt Hall. I've seen him quite a few times now, and well, I would say I had a good time with this set because it was pretty funny. He likes to talk about his kids and childhood. That was pretty much comedy gold. He got the crowd laughing throughout. It was pretty much like, what was it, 45 hour. So, did pretty well. Crowd loved it. I liked it. I would say Mal Hall was a 9 out of 10 for his comedy. The guy always brings it, and the crowd always loves it. So it's really cool though. Overall, great show. Great show by Alex and McKay. This may have been the best lineup I've seen in person by Alex. Normally you would have maybe a couple that do okay, and then maybe a couple that maybe might be hitting it big, and then you have the big headliner at the end. But something about this crowd, they actually liked every single person on the lineup, and they liked every single thing, pretty much everything they said. So I guess it was just great, like presentation, the timing of the jokes, the rapport with the crowd, great crowd work. Honestly, great show overall. I can see why this is a top 10 comedy show in San Diego. So can't wait to see more from Abnormal Nights Comedy from Alex Petit. Next show I went to the next night, Friday night, I went to the Laugh Factory. Went to see